Hey guys, back this time to chat on Louisville, Notre Dame. Game is on Sunday, March 3rd. I believe it starts at 1:30 Eastern. Louisville is 8.5 or 8.5 point favorite. I'm seeing 8.5 and 9, but now I'm seeing more 8.5. Total is 136. We were able to pick up another fairly easy winner the other day with Bradley Valpo going under. I think the game under was like 127.5. Ended at like 109 or 110. I don't really remember. But easy winner. Gives us 3 wins in a row on the channel and a record of 11-3 against the spread in college hoops. Been a nice little heater, but regardless, want to be clear, do not venture outside your financial means. These are all one-unit plays that I give you unless I specify otherwise, which will be a rare scenario, and it'll never be above a 2-unit play. Again, can't stress enough, I'm not this 10-unit, 5-unit, bail myself out, play of the year, play of the decade, play of the universe. All that shit is nonsense. If you're hearing it from anybody else. If you haven't been following from the beginning, though, you are nearly up 8 units in college basketball. You are also probably up a little over 20 units if you've been following all the way back from NFL. Again, very picky with my spots. I'm not looking for I'm not looking to turn a toothpick into a baseball bat. Just kind of, finding my spots, finding value where I can, providing to the channel. Don't be doubling down on any picks just because a few of them are winning. I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not sitting here predicting that these picks are 100% going to win. I'm looking for valuable spots where I feel like we have an edge, plus expected value bets, and that's not going to change here. I hear a lot all the time that when you're on a heater, you need to be betting more, right? Oh my God. You just keep winning. You just got to keep betting. I mean, just keep piling up the picks because, now's where you don't lose. You're playing with house money. All this shit it's gambler's fallacy. It really is. And it's like people think like, oh, if I'm on a heater, I need to be betting more because, I'm playing with house money. Here's my chance to really crack, the sports books. And then when people are on a cooler, people are also saying I need to bet more because I need to start chasing. I need to get my money back that I lost. Both scenarios are just fallacies. You shouldn't be betting more in either of them. You should be continuing to stay within your means, stay truthful to your models, yourself, your financial lane, trying to include all variables possible, but realizing that at the end of the day, it's all about getting favorable numbers, and you do not get favorable numbers, 2 minutes before a game starts, because you lost a few games before that. You start piling money in other games, parlays, all of it's just nonsense. So again, channel's been good. We've been winning a lot. I don't want you to start doubling down on these games thinking that what I'm giving you is Bible. I am giving you favorable spots that during this stretch have been doing really well. But again, all this will come back to a median at some point. But I do believe that my process is professional. The research is good, and I give you guys the picks and the videos. To help you and to make you all better sports bettors. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and pound my chest every win I get. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you that transparency, which most handicappers will not. Okay, so I will say that for a Sunday, actually a decent amount of bettable action. But I'm actually going to stick to this game here, the Louisville Notre Dame game. It might not be the most sexiest game. I know the game will be on CBS, so at least you'll be able to watch it. As long as you have basic cable. Michigan-Maryland, though, will probably be the most popular game tomorrow to bet. I will say that line is very accurate. I believe Michigan's -1 on the road. I do pray for the people that truly believe they have an edge on that line because, it's basically going to be a question of will Michigan force more turnovers than Maryland's ability to, or huge advantage Maryland has on the offensive glass. I mean, this was shown a lot. The first time these two teams played in this game that they're playing, the extra possessions are going to be key. So, Maryland's ability, if Maryland has a +10 or +15 edge on the glass at home in this game, you got to figure it's probably going to go to them. But if Michigan, forces Maryland into 10 or 15 more turnovers than, Michigan has, it's the extra possessions that are going to win that game. I'm not really sitting here trying to flip a coin on that game. As far as the total in that game as well, you'd probably figure more or less would go under. because of the pace those two teams play at, but even that number is fair as well. I think it's like 129. So the whole game is just a pass for me. I wish you the best of luck in how you bet it, because I do know that will be the most popular game tomorrow. But as far as the granular specifics of it, I'm not looking to go into it, because that line's correct. And even if it moves a point or two in either direction, it's still not favorable enough for me to really jump on board. Okay, so talking about this game, Louisville, Notre Dame, as mentioned, Louisville minus 8.5, total 136. Louisville, losers of 3 straight games, 6 of their last 8. They are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4. And they host Notre Dame here, coming off one of their worst losses of the year against Boston College. The good news is for the Cardinals is they will be back home, where they've only lost to Virginia, Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky. These are all top 8 teams as per KenPom. On the flip side, Notre Dame is coming off a tough road loss to Florida State, where they really hung tight with a tough Florida State team for most of the game. They even had a 10-point lead early on because of some red-hot shooting, but they did slowly concede some points back to Florida State. So I saw Louisville open at 9. I am seeing, like I said, 8.5 in more places than 9 now. I think what we're looking at here is a complete overreaction on some of Louisville's most recent performances. As I mentioned, the losses in 6 of their last 8, really tough for people to swallow that want to lay this many points against Notre Dame, who hasn't lost a game by more than 8 points since February 6th, so that's almost a month. This is a team that is keeping themselves in games, keeping games close, doing so on the hands of their star forward, John Mooney. Also, the most recent Louisville-Boston College loss has caused quite a media stir that Chris Mack has had to address, Louisville's head coach, in the idea of, what is going on with Louisville, specifically from the offensive end. They're just not scoring. What I think most don't realize in situations like this is, in the stretch of a season, there's a lot of above-average teams, probably all of them actually, that go through these stretches. This is what makes they go through these bad stretches. This is what makes them above-average teams and not elite teams, okay? Your top 5 to 6, maybe even top 10 teams in the country, depending on the variance of the year, will be in the top tier, and you won't see them go on these little benders that Louisville's going on. Louisville is an above-average team. They're a team that, will wind up being a 5 or a 6 seed, maybe even a 7 at the lowest, depending how these next few games go. But they will be a 5 or a 6 seed with upside of a 4 seed come the bracket. But again, they will not be an elite seed. They will not be an elite team. They will not be a 1, 2, or a 3 seed, regardless of how they finish. And teams like this always go on bad spurts. It happens. And the problem is that when these things happen, people tend to jump off the ship, and then this is where problems start within their bankroll. This is the exact time you want to be on the Louisville ship. Okay, this team, when you break down the numbers of this game in particular against Notre Dame, Louisville should be an 11 or a 12-point favorite here. Recent bias is going to tell you otherwise, but it's worth noting that the last 3 teams the Cardinals have played in their home gym, that would be Virginia, Duke, North Carolina. These are all top 5 teams as per the AP polls, as per KenPom. Notre Dame is a sub 100 team. You could maybe make the argument they're ranked in the 80s or 90s, or more or less the 80s, but they are one of the bottom ACC teams. They're ranked, I think, 14th or 15th in the ACC. Unlucky spot, in my opinion, for Notre Dame here, because they're going to be catching the Cardinals in a huge market correction spot. Louisville's biggest issue, as I mentioned before, has been scoring. They have not gone over 60 points once in their last 4 games. I can tell you, I really like the chances of that changing tomorrow against Notre Dame's below average defense. So most certainly expect the Louisville crowd to be riled up for this game, giving the Cardinal players just the amount of energy they need to go on multiple runs throughout this game. Notre Dame does play mostly man defense. I would expect Louisville, I would expect Chris Mack and Louisville to run many plays, many screen and rolls, where they're going to get guys either that are rolling towards the basket for easy layups or dunks, or wide open 3-pointers. As long as Louisville is going to hit their open jumpers, I got to assume this game has the potential for a run out. When I say run out, like a 10-plus point win, 10, 11, 12. I'm not going to sit here and try to predict you a 25-point blowout. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I do believe that Louisville will have plenty of opportunities offensively to really put points up on the board tomorrow. And this is a really good market correction spot. Guys like Jordan Nwora and Dwayne Sutton are going to be a handful for the star forward John Mooney for Notre Dame, who John Mooney's had an excellent year. He's awesome forward for them. I really hope he finds his way into the NBA at some point, because he's quite the talent. But I do believe that in this scenario, Louisville at home is going to really, really suffocate him and really force him into tough shots. He's a great player. He could have a great game. He could be the reason why Notre Dame ends up covering here, but I do believe that Louisville's going to do all they can to suffocate him. All in all, we do have a spot here where the market has just overreacted too much to the Cardinals' recent play, granting us what I consider a good number against a really good number actually against a much inferior team. I myself don't really ever lay more than 5 to 6 points with a team. I'm sure you've seen the picks I've given out. I'm not really a big juice guy. If anything, I'm more of a dog guy and an under guy. I don't really bet a lot of overs. I don't really bet a lot of big favorites. So this is a really unique spot for me, but I really like it. I really like the spot for the Cards to really put the train back on the tracks and grab a double-digit victory here for the cover. Worth noting that if this is a 6 to 7 point game late, Louisville is 11th in the country in free throw percentage, or at least in free throw makes, or free throws being the percentage of their points as well is pretty high in the country, but they are 11th in the country in free throw percentage, so I like their ability to ice this game late. If it is under the 8.5, their ability to get over that for the cover. For Notre Dame to cover here, they're going to have to make three-pointers, and it's not something they've done well all year. The three-pointers, are what got them out to that big lead against Florida State, but then they slowly kind of cooled off, and that's when Florida State kind of pulled away, but not enough to cover late. But Notre Dame's going to have to make their three-pointers. And they're not a team that fouls all that much, so I don't expect Louisville to be spending a lot of time on the line unless they get one of those crowd-heavy refs in favor of Louisville. But I do expect Louisville to get a ton of open looks, as I mentioned, which hopefully will fall in this spot. But that three ball for Notre Dame was what kept them, in good striking distance of FSU, and they're going to need that to stay within striking distance of Louisville in this game. But I just think Notre Dame is going to be forced to do way too many tough shots, and they're not a good shooting team as it is. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, Louisville should be getting a ton of open looks with the ability to have multiple stretch runs throughout the game. So that's basically it. It's going to be Louisville minus 8.5. If you're seeing 9, I do not like 9. 9 is slightly favorable, but not enough where I want to bet it. I want to bet very favorable numbers. 8.5 is very favorable. Do I think this game will go to 8? I don't know. I think that, again, when you look at the numbers kind of tell you Notre Dame should be able to hang in with this team to a certain extent. But when you really dig deep into the numbers, this is not a close game by any stretch of the imagination. And, the recency bias, though, is that Louisville is kind of a sinking ship. And, so I don't know if the public might go in that direction with Notre Dame, but I did see it drop half a point from open, and that's why I like it now at 8.5. But again, as far as where it's going to go, I like 8.5. I bet 8.5. So, just grab 8.5. I can't guarantee you if it's going to go back to 9 or go to 8, 7.5. Obviously, if you get better than 8.5, you get 8 or 7.5. Grab that. But other than that, got Louisville minus 8.5 here. Game's at 1:30 tomorrow. That's Sunday, March 3rd. I want to thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you are not already. I always appreciate the comments, so please keep them coming. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And I will be back tomorrow night with another video. Looking to stay hot. Again, 11-3 with the videos. Winners of 3 in a row. So let's keep the ball moving here. I will see you guys back tomorrow night. Thanks again.